Good evening. I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Wilson School Board for Monday, March 5th, 2018. Have a roll call, please.
Mr. Hayes?
Here.
Mr. Ehrlich?
Here.
Ms. Ellis? Here. Mr. Hart?
Here.
Dr. Kennedy? Here. Mrs. Cocker? Here. Mr. Martin?
Here.
Mr. Negrini?
Here.
Mr. Wolf?
Here.
9 here, 0 present. I'm sorry. 0 absent.
Thank you. Can we please stand for the pledge to the flag? Ms. Pierce, will you cover public participation?
Yes, good evening. Pursuant to the Sunshine Act, Robert's Rules, and Board Policy, the following are the rules of public participation today. Individuals attending this meeting are expected to conduct themselves in a responsible and respectful manner that does not disrupt the meeting. Public comment is not a question and answer session, but instead is an opportunity to offer comment on matters that are before or may come before the board. All comments must be directed to the board as a body and not to any individual. Finally, comments shall be limited to 3 minutes per individual.
Thank you. Under communications, we have several acknowledgments. The first that we'll do are the students that we have here tonight. And from what I'm reading, it looks like, am I reading this right? First, second, and third place. That's incredible. So we have Ms. Reppert and Ms. Saar here if you want to come up and make that presentation of these students.
Is he back there doing the video thing for us?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. We're just here to recognize 3 of our students. We run the Rubik's Cube competition in our district. We're actually the only district currently running it in Berks County, and this will be our 4th year doing so. And interestingly, we had last year 3 of our students recognized as being elite cubers in the state of Pennsylvania, and they were ranked number 1, 2, and 3 last year in the state. So we brought them along with us, but we have a little video introduction for you, and then we'll announce who our students are. Is my head like in the way? So we just asked our students to come here because we wanted to honor them with our certificates that were from the Rubik's Cube, the You Can Do the Cube program, and we have a little gift for them from there. And then we felt that we wanted to do something interesting and be creative, so.
Challenge is coming.
So we just want to recognize, we have Josh Bournet. Since you're up front, we'll call you first. We have Zeke Eberly, and we have Eric Becker, who were our Rubik's Cube title holders from last year. Oh, yeah.
Guys, do you want to, or just to the cubes? I'll get them the cubes.
Okay.
All right, so they all brought their own cubes, but we thought it would be fun to add to the competition here, and we thought that they could take you on. We gave you a solution guide, so you don't need to worry, you don't know how to solve it. But the boys, how about we do, Josh, why don't you come over and you can take on these
Like those
four
four?
members, and we'll put our champion in the middle, you can take on
Go
the
ahead.
middle, and you
You can take
one
them.
end. So this is the solution guides, where they started, and don't worry, we have cubes for you all. And once, for my cubers, once you have your four opponents have their cubes, whenever you say start, you can tell them. So, feel free to set up everyone, get yourself ready for it. Take it right side to the top. Go with that.
I've been working on it for 40 years.
These don't have stickers on them.
There's no peeling, they're not popping apart.
Oh,
Yeah.
I used to be really good at this.
I know.
Stickers are no longer an option.
So Cubers, whenever you want to take on, so you have the four of you, or whenever you want to start.
And we're gonna see how many board members can beat our students.
So Josh, whenever you want to go, you can start.
It's called delegation.
Corners are wrong, but the white side is up. That's done. I think they cleaned up, I'm just saying.
I have no doubt.
So we also wanted to use this as a chance to advertise for our next competition, May 2nd. Yes. It's Wednesday night, it's gonna be at West, and we'll have more publication about it, but if you wanna come out and see the cubing, it's really fun. So they do a competition, the one-on-one, which is obviously what it is, and then they do a competition of, is it 8? That's what it was, yeah. Eight kids on a team solving 24 cubes. So they're working together, so you can even join a team, because if you can only solve one side, you can pass it off to one of these guys, and they could finish it. So they work as a team to solve all those cubes, which is pretty neat collaboration.
If there's any interest, we could do an adult. We got maybe 12 or so interested here, maybe.
Yeah.
So.
Well, thank you very much, guys.
Are we cleaning up? If you borrow a cube, you're more than welcome to take it home.
Thank you. Yeah, you're free to go unless you boys want to sit and practice. We do have a few other special recognitions. With us tonight is Dr. Elizabeth Burkhart, one of our high school health and phys ed teachers. She is the recipient of the Mabel Lee Award, which is a national level award recognizing younger members of SHAPE, which stands for the Society of Health and Physical Educators, who have demonstrated outstanding potential in scholarship, teaching, and/or professional leadership. Dr. Burkhart will receive the Mabel Lee Award, the 2018 SHAPE American National Convention and Expo in Nashville later this month. I'm jealous. I want to go to Nashville. We are so proud of Dr. Burkhart and all of her achievements. So if you wouldn't mind coming up and shaking hands with us so we can recognize her. Also with us tonight is one of our Wilson West Health and Phys Ed teachers, Mrs. Kristen Hook, who was recently selected as a K-12 Health Teacher of the Year by the Lancaster, Lebanon, Berks Association of Health, Physical Educators, Recreation, and Dance for outstanding teaching and contributions to her profession. The honor given Mrs. Hook is a tribute to her accomplishments as a teacher, a person, and her involvement in the field of health and physical education. Mrs. Hook will receive her Teacher of the Year award on May 16th, 2018, I'm guessing, at the annual awards banquet held at the Eden Resort in Lancaster. So congratulations, Mrs. Hook. If you wouldn't mind coming up and letting us congratulate you. Ms. Carroll, any other communications? Okay. The board did meet prior to tonight's meeting in executive session regarding a personnel issue. On to approval of the minutes. Looking for a motion to approve the minutes for February 20th, 2018. Mr. Ehrlich, Mr. Martin, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Vote carries. Motion carries. Payment of bills, Mr. Martin.
Of $922,717.75.
Thank you. We have a second. Mr. Ehrlich, roll call, please.
Yes.
Mr. Ehrlich?
Yes.
Ms. Ellis? Yes. Mr. Hart?
Yes.
Dr. Kennedy? Yes. Mrs. Cocker? Yes. Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Negrini?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
9-4, 0 against.
Thank you. 6.1, request permission to approve a trip to the Newseum in Washington, D.C. for 52 AP Research and Seminar students from the high school on May 23rd, 2018. Would be one day out of school at a cost of $55 to students and a cost of $0 to the districts. The students will be chaperoned by Mrs. Stuckert and Mrs. Gutzler. 6.2, request permission to approve the trip to a choral festival in Boston, Massachusetts for 40 choral students from the high school on April 12th through 13th, 2018, 2 days out of school at a cost of $625 per student and a cost to the district of 3 substitutes. Students will be chaperoned by Mrs. Fredericks and 2 other teachers to be determined. And the third, request permission to approve a trip to a Broadway workshop in New York, for 35 high school theater students on April 4th, 2018, one day out of school at a cost of $225 per student. Cost to the district of 2 substitutes. Students will be chaperoned by Mr. and Mrs. Reppert. Looking for a motion for those 3. Mr. Case, Mr. Hart, thank you. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. 7.1, Dr. Fadley, you want to take us through the superintendent report, please?
Yes. Thank you, President Wolf. It is my recommendation this evening that the board approve the personnel and program recommendations as presented in the agenda, to include recognition, end of service, child rearing leave, change in status, unpaid leave, change in status due to credits earned effective August 28th, 17, change in status to credits earned effective January of 18, support staff recommendations, professional hires, professional employee status, substitute teachers, extracurricular. Those are the items presented for approval this evening.
Ms. Ellis, second. Mr. Hart. Roll call, please.
Mr. Ehrlich?
Yes.
Ms. Ellis? Yes. Mr. Hart?
Yes.
Dr. Kennedy? Yes. Mrs. Cocker?
Yes.
Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Negrini?
Yes.
Mr. Case?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
9-4, 0 against.
Thank you. Moving on to 8. First one is request approval to accept with gratitude the following donation from Gatorade, a $1,000 donation to the athletic department as a result of Wilson athletic trainer John Moyer winning the Gatorade Secondary School Athletic Trainer Award. So thank you, Doc Moyer. Number 2, request approval to ratify the renewal of the district sponsorship contract with Berks Lanes in the amount of $2,000 per year. I have a motion for those two. Mr. Martin, Mrs. Cocker, second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. On to HR. 9.1, authorize reimbursement of $47.60 to Angie Boyer for assisting food service lead worker responsibilities for the month of December 2017 and February 2018, and authorize reimbursement of $58.80 to Sharon DiBiase for assisting food service lead worker responsibilities for the month of December 2017 and February 2018. And 9.2, authorize payment of $5,000 stipend to James Dolan for the JROTC instructor for the Raider team and drill team instruction and supervision. Looking for a motion for those two. Mr. Hart? Mr. Martin? Any discussion? I just wanted to note with Mr. Dolan, I know he, in this situation, has picked up a lion's share of the work that needs to be done here for really next to nothing at this point. So this is just a show of appreciation that we have for the number of kids that he impacts with his efforts. So thank you to him. Looking for a roll call, please.
Mr. Hart?
Yes.
Dr. Kennedy? Yes. Mrs. Cocker? Yes. Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Negrini?
Yes.
Mr. Case?
Yes.
Mr. Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
9-4, 0 against.
Under Pupil Services, 10.1, request approval of a resolution approving and adopting a student discipline waiver and consent agreement dated February 23rd, 2018. Looking for a motion for that. Mr. Ehrlich, Mr. Martin, second. Roll call, please.
Dr. Kennedy? Yes. Mrs. Cocker?
Yes.
Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Negrini?
Yes.
Mr. Case?
Yes.
Mr. Ehrlich?
Yes.
Ms. Ellis?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
9-4, 0 against.
Technology and Media, 11.1, request approval to enter a 60-month lease with Stratix Systems Wyomissing for $745 per month for printer copier at Central Duplication. So a motion for that. Ms. Ellis? Mrs. Cocker, thank you. That's, any discussion on that? Roll call, please.
Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Negrini?
Yes.
Mr. Case?
Yes.
Mr. Ehrlich?
Yes.
Ms. Ellis?
Yes.
Mr. Hart?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
9-4, 0 against.
12.1 under Operations, request approval for the change orders as follows to the Wilson High School varsity softball dugouts. There's one of a decrease for $424.50, an even no dollar change. I think that was just a date change, and then an increase of $2,000. Percentage is still within 0.017% of the total. Also request approval for the change order to the Lower Heidelberg Roof Project from Richard L. Sensig Company, a decrease of $5,000. Looking for a motion, or, I'm sorry, let me go on to 12.2. Looking for a motion to request approval to attach to the attached capital spending plan for June 2018 to June 2019. So a motion for 12.1 and 12.2. Mr. Negrini, thank you. Ms. Ellis, thank you. Second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Case?
Yes.
Mr. Ehrlich?
Yes.
Ms. Ellis?
Yes.
Mr. Hart?
Yes.
Dr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
9-4, 0 against.
Jumping down to 19 policies. Tonight we have our third and final reading of Policy 915 regarding our booster organizations. So looking for a motion to approve the final reading and adoption of Policy 915, booster organizations. Mrs. Cocker, thank you. Second, Mr. Case. Any discussion? Just want to note as well, I know we mentioned this before, but this policy was sent out by Mr. Kaufman in the athletic department to all of our parent organizations and booster clubs for their review as well. And to date haven't received any feedback, positive or negative, so we did give them opportunity to weigh in on this as well. That being said, roll call, please.
Case?
Yes.
Mr. Ehrlich?
Yes.
Ms. Ellis?
Yes.
Mr. Hart?
Yes.
Dr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mrs. Cocker?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
9-4, 0 against.
Thank you. On to committee reports, BCTC, Mr. Case.
First, I just want to talk about how happy I am that I'm on the BCTC committee. It is a fantastic organization, and they're doing a lot of great things over there. Just a little bit from the I'm going to take a couple of minutes here and talk about this. If we can bring up the menu, every BCTC, for those of you who don't know, starts out with a fantastic dinner that was created by 6 students from different schools from around the area in Berks County. We had Ariana Vega from Wilson School District as one of those students, and she's an outstanding student in the culinary field for BCTC, and she prepared a fantastic meal. This is just this was the meal that we had on Wednesday. Probably the best stuffed crab flounder I've ever had in my entire life. So I just wanted to give kudos to Ariana Vega. The students prepare the menu and everything else that goes around it. So if, I guess from an admin perspective and for teachers, if there's students that are interested in culinary arts, that's the way to go. Ariana is she's looking forward to, in college, continuing her studies. So I just wanted to give a shout out to her. And I'm going to do that with any time I hear anything great about Wilson students at BCTC, I'm going to share it. So, and after the dinner, then we had a tour of the electrical center at the West Campus, and we got to talk to a lot of the students that are in the electrical, a couple of them that were there. They've actually built a house inside their large classroom, a residential small house, and they do all the wiring from the kitchen, the 220 power going into there, meters, and then there's also a part of the classroom that does, that they have like motors. So there's like motor theory, industrial motors. And it's just, all the students are well-spoken, and we get to go around and talk to them. So I'm inspired every time I step into the place and talk with the students. So I just wanted to share that with everybody. That's before all the business stuff that goes on. So anyway, it's if you can get tours or bring students through there, it's a great opportunity. With regards to business, the $18 million budget will be sent now to the districts for voting. So that's going to happen in the next month or two. Wilson's portion of that for approval is $987,000, $987,000 and some change. So we'll be talking about that. And another thing for businesses, they're going to have a snow makeup day. Since they've lost so much time, it's going to be after school. So June 7th is one of their last makeup day. With regard to news and some ideas, the principal from the East Campus was talking about Exeter reached out. The woman's name is Erica Moyer from Exeter. She teaches life skills. So she has special needs students that are in elementary school, that she actually wound up reaching out to BCTC and spoke to they brought a whole bunch of kids over, because the special needs kids typically don't have a lot of positive experiences outside of their classroom. They're going to doctors, things aren't positive sometimes. So they actually brought the students in, and it was really inspiring. There's some actual pictures if you go into the student-built house in Life Skills. The bottom one, I'm sorry, the bottom right there. And you may see some pictures of a house, but after that, keep going down. They brought some students in, and they wound up bringing them to the cosmetology area. So people get haircuts and stuff. They wound up doing manicures, and the kids had a ball. And then they wound up bringing them to the cafeteria, which actually is a live lunch. Between certain hours, they actually serve lunch every day during the week. And it's $5.50, and they have an outstanding lunch. So the kids got some money, and they wound up going to the register and paying for their own lunch and everything. So it was a really great day. They got to play with the dog and stuff. And they're going to go back and do a trip and visit the dentist area. So I'm not quite sure what they're going to do there. But anyway, I wanted to kind of share that with Wilson, because if there's anyone that reach out and plan some trips or whatever, the more we pay for this. Well, okay, yeah. I mean, we pay for this BCTC, so we should use it as much as we can. So anyway, it was just a real great inspiration. And along with that, I'll share also there's a student-built house project that's going on. They're building a house in the Ole area. They sold one. The last one they sold was for around $287,000 or something like that. And this particular house, they're making great progress. It's probably going to be a $300-something thousand house. You can actually see the Ole School from there in the background. And that is going to be ready for sale sometime either late this year or early next year. So they're making progress. They're using these new laminated beams that you can expand more than standard beams and stuff. So, and it's all student run. There's the principals there, but they don't touch anything. So they have level 1, 2, and 3 students working on that building, and really outstanding students. So from the electrical, the bricklaying, the foundation, everything. So great group of students doing that. Let's see, some other things. The BCTC, they're planning the 50th anniversary next year. And some student news real quick. The What's Cool About Manufacturing has gone on, and people have voted. I just wanted to let everyone know that if you go into the trophies, the last time we were at the BCTC East last month, they were actually in the middle of making these trophies. These are beautiful trophies. They're really, really heavy. So they were actually using all their CNC machines to create this trophy. So if you, hopefully we'll see some of these at Wilson after tomorrow when we bring them home. Anyway, so they were made actually by the students at BCTC. So just, again, outstanding things that they're doing over there. For the 4th year in a row, BCTC earned top awards for the NOCTI, National Occupational Competency Testing Institute for Electrical, which basically means that over 75% of the students that were going through actually wound up passing the exam. So it's a nationally recognized exam. Health students, seniors that are participating in a co-op from Berksheim, all 28 of them passed their nursing aid CNA exam, which gives them the opportunity to start right away in the field after graduation, which is another phenomenal thing. These students are getting out of high school, and they're able to actually start a career if they want to, or continue. The welding program, just a few accolades that they were talking about. There are 41 people that are in the welding program, and they have lots of nationally recognized certifications by the American Welding Society. And just so you know how popular this curriculum is, 8 students were not able to get in due to space. So they're looking at ways that they can expand the program to get more people into the welding program. And some other quick things. The East Campus placed 3rd in the Greater Philadelphia PA Dealers Association Automotive Tech Competition. So there were students that were going through this competition where they just show a car, and it's sort of like, hey, here's a problem, try and fix it. And they have to use certain tech gear and machines to try and figure it out, and they wound up getting 3rd place. One of the other things that BCTC is doing is they're developing a foundation scholarship fund to help send more students to these kinds of competitions. So lots of good news there. And then lastly, March 16th to March 18th. Look for our BCTC students displaying what they do best at the Berks County Home and Garden Show at the Santander Center. So they're going to have a big 14, 15-foot display showing what they do at the school. So all good stuff. Love being a part of BCTC and love promoting it. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next meeting is March 21st, 2018 at 6:30, East Campus.
Thank you for being a good advocate for the program. I'm passionate about it myself. Unfortunately, what happens often, it's a logistic issue with kids steering away from it just because they're so involved with other things. We're still in that mindset that everybody's got to go to college, and these kids are coming out of here. Many of them get those accredited programs and are literally can be hired right out of high school, will have no debt and be making a very good living coming out of there with a very good skill. And when you talk to and read reports about industry and business, that's where a lot of the jobs are in those skilled labor type trades. So
I don't know many plumbers and electricians that are running their own businesses that don't have a summer beach house.
Yeah.
It's
yeah, they're doing well.
good industry to be in.
They are doing well.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. IU, Dr. Kennedy. Okay. EIT, Ms. Schlossman. Thank you. Curriculum, Dr. Kennedy.
The curriculum committee met on February 27th at 4 o'clock in Dr. Amy Flannery's office. We had an update on the Building Bulldogs initiative. This is where we received $10,000 grant to help prepare future Bulldogs entering kindergarten. There was a literacy focus session that was held at Cornwall Terrace Elementary and at the YMCA. More parents and children are attending each session. The feedback has been all positive. The next sessions for Building Bulldogs will be March 14th at the YMCA and March 15th at Cornwall Terrace. Information is on the district website if anyone is interested. We began very early discussions on the possibility of replacing the current elementary math program. The plan is to pilot programs with teacher volunteers and then solicit feedback and start over if we have to. Elementary science is looking to augment their science curriculum with new materials. And in elementary English language arts, there is a need to supplement the Lucy Calkins unit of study with some word study materials, and they're just starting looking at the possibility of purchasing some curriculum materials and investigating those. Good?
Good, thank you. Extracurricular, I have some updates on wrapping up and still participating in winter sports. Our boys basketball just finished their season at 15-11. Girls basketball is still alive, 17-9. They play Abington in the first round of the state tournament this Friday at the Geigel. So they're local if you have an opportunity to get out and see them. Boys bowling finished, or they're still going. They're at 35-4. They placed second at the regional event this past weekend and did qualify for state. So congratulations to them. That'll be held March 16th and 17th in Pittsburgh. Girls bowling finished also with a great season at 31-8. Rifle team finished at 2-12. Boys swimming had a great weekend, 13-0, won the District 3 championship and qualified for states at Bucknell on March 13th through 15th. Girls swimming also qualified for states to be held March 13th and 15th at Bucknell. Wrestling finished at 7-9. Our competitive cheer won their first competition of the season this past weekend at the Keystone Championship in Gettysburg. And today was the official first day of spring sports with a winter storm coming tomorrow. That sounds about right. We will have the plows out on the turf most likely by Wednesday, so hopefully not. Just a couple good news things to note. With spring sports coming up, there was an article last week that our boys baseball team decided to do a community project, and they went to the Olivets Boys and Girls Club and served dinner to, I think it was about 120 kids that were there served them a pasta dinner and interacted with those kids. So that's great that we have kids getting out and doing that, and our coaches are encouraging it. Also, I know this Saturday our boys lacrosse team was up early and at Opportunity House in Reading serving breakfast and interacting with some of the kids that are at Opportunity House as well. So we thank those coaches for getting our kids out and involved in the community. That concludes extracurricular. Facilities, Mr. Negrini. Finance, Mr. Ehrlich. No report. HR, Mr. Hart.
18th of March at noon in the HR office.
Thank you. Legislative, Mr. Martin, I saw you bring a book in here.
Just a
I hope
few
it's
things.
all good news.
Well, no, I'm gloom and doom. So, the state budget for the first 8 months is about $400 million above anticipated revenues. Half of that, though, is related to the tobacco settlement fund. So we're running about $200 million ahead for the 8 months, which is a good thing. The budget is still being discussed. They're wrapping up hearings on the budget for this coming year. It's expected to finish that in the next couple of weeks. There's one task force committee that was put together to look at retirement savings, and the conclusion was that they're looking at a potential, this is just in committee, it's not made it to the floor, of it making mandatory 401k contributions by all employees in the state. So and that they fear that will save almost $700 million a year in health benefits and so forth put out, because a lot of people do not have savings to cover the cost. I do have a problem with that proposal because a lot of people live almost paycheck to paycheck, and if you take out whatever percentage they're recommending, it could impact their ability to do certain things. So I think there's some things that they should have an opt-out option if they feel that the budget's too tight, because a lot of these people they're talking about don't have the best paying jobs, so they budget closely. So I have some concerns with that. A concern that nobody cares about in our legislative branches up there, we have about $80 billion unfunded pension costs, and it's going to strap the school districts for 20, 25 years in the future till we come to get our hands around this. So it's not really looking good. I mean, if we have another downturn that happened back in the 2007, 2008, I don't know where this money's coming from, but we got think about it, $80 billion. That's it.
Thank you. Ms. Troutman, you want to do Ed Foundation and Public Relations? Thank you.
Thank you. Obviously, we shared a lot of great Wilson good news at the beginning of the meeting. Just a couple of other things under public relations. Wanted to mention that our Wilson Middle School students were recently featured in an article in the Business Weekly section of the Reading Eagle, promoting their participation in What's So Cool About Manufacturing, which Mr. Case already mentioned. This opportunity puts teams of 8th grade students in direct contact with some of Berks County's top manufacturing companies. So this year, our students from Wilson Southern are working with East Penn Manufacturing, and our West students are working with Novapac. Middle schools from Berks and Schuylkill counties will be competing against each other in various categories for the best 2.5-minute promotional videos showcasing their company. And online voting for Viewers' Choice Award ran through March 2nd, and we promoted all of that through our district communications. And I agree, I hope we bring one of those trophies home that now I learned tonight was made by our students at BCTC. So that's awesome. So that's a great program, and we love being able to promote that through our district communications. Also wanted to mention that Wilson's senior Jasper Den Otter is currently participating in a student exchange program in China. And hopefully you saw in the newspaper, he's been doing a blogging about his trip, and the Reading Eagle actually featured his blog in a recent article in the February 26th edition of the paper. And if you didn't get a chance to check out Jasper's blog, please do so. It's really amazing. Also want to offer our congratulations to our 2018 Wilson Spelling Bee champions, Sharana Guerra from 7th grade at Southern Middle School and Cameron Stone from 7th grade at Wilson West were our champions this year. They will represent our school district at the Berks County Championship Spelling Bee on Monday, March 12th at 7 p.m. in the Miller Center for the Arts at RAC, and certainly we wish them the best of luck. They were also featured in the newspaper as well for their achievements. And our Wilson students are rocking the vote. Hopefully you saw the article in the paper about our high school peer advocacy club that's been presenting and providing information about voter registration to our high school students. They have a goal to get as many seniors eligible to register to vote to get them registered. If 85% of our seniors are registered, our high school will be presented with an award from either Governor Wolf or his Secretary of State. So again, there was a really nice article in the newspaper about their efforts. Just super, super proud of our students and all the amazing work that they're doing, and they're getting that recognition, and it's awesome. Also, I'd like to just quickly issue a report for the Education Foundation. I feel like all I talk about is Iron Chef, but that's because it is our largest event of the year. It's coming up on Sunday, right here on the Wilson High School campus. And based on past year's ticket sales, we feel like we're on track to hopefully have another sellout crowd. We normally attract about 1,000 people at that event. Our sponsorship commitments are currently totaling over 12,000, which is an increase over previous years, which is awesome. Advanced ticket sales end tomorrow, and if people do not purchase tickets in advance, they are available at the door. That's all. Thank you.
Technology, Mrs. Cocker.
4 p.m. upstairs.
Thank you. Student outreach, Sophia.
Last weekend was our mini-thon, and we're proud to say that we raised over $94,000 for the Four Diamonds Fund. So it was really exciting, and it was fun to like make the signs and hide them so that our overalls thought like possibly there were different numbers and everything. And it seemed that everyone had a lot of fun, although I was back counting money from community hours. But community hours also seemed pretty successful, and I hope if any of you guys got to go that you had a fun time. This Friday, student government is hopefully having a St. Patrick's Day dance. We're hoping that enough students show interest and we don't have to cancel like the Wilson Mifflin dance, but we're going to cross our fingers. And students have also been meeting over the past few weeks about planning the walkout in support of the students in Parkland and those who lost their lives. So that's going pretty smoothly, and I think we're on track. Also, the World Scholars Club is having a meeting this week so that students can pick their countries for the International Food Fest, but I'm not totally sure when that is. But I heard it's really fun and a lot of good food. And that's all.
I just wanted to comment to you. I don't know how involved you are with this the planned walkout, and certainly I respect and encourage our students to get involved in these sorts of things. But given I have some history in a previous career where as a dean of students at the time when Columbine happened, and I can tell you, and I'm not a therapist or a psychologist, but I truly believe kids aren't born with this evil intent in their heart to do what happened. Unfortunately, it's a result of an environment that they're brought up in, or attention that they're not receiving. So my heartfelt recommendation or wish is that as a student body, you guys also take an opportunity to find ways to reach out to the peers in your school. And you guys probably know who they are, the ones that sit by themselves at lunch or don't seem to be walking down the hall with a friend, sit in class and nobody wants to sit next to them. Those are the kids that just need a friend sometimes. So it doesn't have to be anything super complicated, but start to inflict a culture where kids reach out and maybe get to know somebody you didn't know before, and without making a scene about it, identify those kids and try to find out a little bit about them and what makes them tick, and just take the time to learn about them. Sometimes that's all it takes to change their heart. So thank you for stepping up and doing something, but I hope you guys can continue it past that 17 minutes that you're going to do. Thank you. Solicitor, Ms. Pierce, anything additional?
No report.
Okay. Any public participation? Okay. All right, Ms. Herzog. I didn't know you were going to be here. I addressed that to Jillian, but hopefully you listened as well.
Yeah. So I don't know if this is on or not, but we had another meeting about the walkout today, and it's going well. I wanted to come to they sent me to come to the board meeting to thank all of you for you haven't publicly supported it, but you also haven't condemned it and threatened suspension. So I feel like every time I come here, I'm complaining about something. So I wanted to express my gratitude that students are being given a voice, and we're allowed to have that First Amendment, the spirit of the First Amendment, with freedom of assembly and protest and speech. And I do suspect that in the coming weeks, there will be push from students from my club, from the Peer Advocacy Club, about improving or seeing what we can do for students in connecting that social emotional piece that's often lost. So thank you, and I'll see you.
Thank you. Thank you for your efforts. Any other business? Okay, looking for a motion to adjourn. Mr. Ulick, Mr. Case second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed?